We got the Bonanza Sphinx here. We're gonna give it a rip and see how it throws. Really straight and pretty far. Holy mother. Would I bag this disc? To be honest, yeah, maybe.
There's 3 keys of disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting.
So right off the bat, for a 9.6 -3.1 disc, it definitely flies more overstable or more stable than the flight numbers would say. Now that is not necessarily a bad thing because I know it's going to beat up to be that really nice hyzer flip to turn style of disc, which is exactly what I'm looking for. I'm looking to replace my PFN Champion Sidewinder that I've thrown kind of throughout the last year, but it's getting a little bit too flippy on me, and I need something that I can trust just a little bit more. We got the Sphinx, we got a P3X, and a couple KC Pro AVRs for putting. So if we take a closer look at the Sphinx, I've been told that it is a Roadrunner bottom with a Valkyrie top. As many of you know, infinite discs are usually either old Innova molds or a mix of Innova molds, and I guess that's what this is. I really enjoy the feel of Roadrunner, so the bottom feels great, and then I guess the top of a Valkyrie isn't super like, it's not one of those tops where you see it and you're like, that's a Valkyrie. So I don't know, looks almost identical to a Roadrunner. Definitely a little bit more stable. It is obviously in halo plastic, so it's also gonna be a little bit more stable. But this disc, it feels really nice. These smooth kind of rounded edged, like not beveled discs, always feel really good. But can you trust them? That is the question. Absolute gap tunnel shot here. You might not be able to see this finish, but if I execute this hole, it'll be a good tell of how this thing flies. You know, I do want this thing to get beat up just a little bit. Oh yeah. Third time's the charm. Should be about pin high, maybe 30, 40 left. Beautiful flight, pretty much effortless distance, which kind of is that 9-speed, slightly understable category. That's like the thing they do better than anything else, is they go really far with no effort. Very low arm speeds can get these 9.6, you know, -2, 3, 4, 1 discs to just bomb. Also want to just give a quick shout out to Anthony. Killing it, dude. Infinite signature disc or Tour Series disc. I remember like a year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago now, Anthony messaged me. We hopped on a FaceTime. We didn't know each other. We talked for like 3 or 4 hours on FaceTime just about like content creation, disc golf, YouTube, everything. And we're two very passionate people about the things we do. Him probably more than me because the man is insane in a good way. But I remember talking, I think he had maybe just hit 10 or 13,000 subscribers, and now he's damn near at 40. I think I was just maybe at like 2,000 or 3,000. Now I'm at 7. Let's get to 10, guys. Go hit the subscribe button if you haven't, please. Yeah, he's come a long way. We've both come a long way, but to see the things he's been doing, it pushes all of us content creators forward. So I love to see it. Let's see what we got here. 345, hole 10. We're playing from the short. It's pretty much a tunnel here. There's the kind of up the gut route, and there's the left route. I want to hit this on a little side hand here and kind of see the flip up points. The Sidewinder for me is, I'd say it gets used more on the forehand than the backhand. So we gotta see how this thing flies. I think I gotta go get that. Oh. Hole 11 from the mediums, 496 feet. Pretty much a flip up to flat hyzer. You want it to turn a little bit and then crash back. We'll see how this thing handles a full smack here. Should be a good little toss. That was a pretty insane line. Hit it on a decent bit of hyzer, flipped up, just missed those left side trees, and then kind of just drifted and actually never came back, which for this disc specifically is a good thing. I don't really want it to come back. I want it to be a little flippier. This slot in my bag is very, very specific. It has to have that little bit of late turn. I don't mind, you know, chucking this thing into a couple trees for the next couple weeks to beat it up just a little bit, but I don't want it to be something that I have to work in for a couple months. I kind of want it to be that flight almost right out of the box. This next hole is probably one of the hardest holes to score on out here, at least, but it is a wide open fairway off the tee. We're gonna test this on a forehand, hopefully flip it up and get a little drift to the left, see how it plays. Come on. That is exactly what I want. I want to be able to throw it, not full power, just on a smooth hyzer release forehand, get it to hit flat, and then slowly drift left, and then kind of just push forward at the end. The sidewinder I've been throwing is starting to get to the point where it kind of burns over to the left, never really pushes forward out of it. That last shot you saw on the last hole, I threw it so far into the woods that there was no point trying to film myself getting out of there. So we're on the next hole. We're gonna throw a little turnover forehand here, see how it plays. Yeah. Well, still a really good shot. I was hoping to snag that putt, but that shot like gave me a lot of hope. We got a 325-foot hole, dead straight, just drifts a little bit to the right. I'm gonna toss this on a side hand, a little bit of hyzer, see if we can nail it. So I waited for the wind. The wind didn't go down. I threw it. There's a slight heady coming up the tunnel. And then the disc immediately turned over, but somehow still got to circle's edge off a tree kick. If you're wondering, Rod, why did that disc flip over so fast? It's because my spin didn't match my speed. When you throw a forehand and you throw it not even hard necessarily, but if your speed is faster than the amount of spin you put on it, then you just roll it over. So your spin is the most important thing. I have a high spin rate, but a relatively average speed, but because of the spin, it still allows me to do the shots I can do. But sometimes, much like that one, my spin was ass. It wasn't good at all. So it burned over. We're gonna try and spin this one more. There you go, that's how you spin it a little bit more, and it actually flies more stable. One of the tightest holes out here. We got the Mando, you gotta throw it up the gut. I'm gonna go with a forehand again, really trying to hit it hard, flip it up, see what happens. We're on the iconic hole that Nathan Queen piped the left side gap on to pretty much not seal the deal, but basically seal the deal to win the Tour Championship against Paul and Drew back like what, 4 years ago at this point. We're gonna take the Sphinx, side hand it, see if we can pipe the same left side gap. Oh, I did it. Now we gotta channel Drew's putting from that same exact round and hole. See if we can ching one. Tee signs are not accurate on this hole anymore. I would say this one's about 300 feet, maybe a little bit less. We're gonna throw this on a backhand with a fan grip and see how that plays. It's so funny because every single round I play, I don't throw many fan grips, but when I do, the first one slips out early almost 100% of the time. That was about the worst early slip out that I think I've ever had. But somehow, I think my basket is at least inside circle one. But did I just say I think my basket's inside circle one? I think my disc is inside circle one. Either way, better to be lucky than good. How that disc found its way to circle one, the disc golf gods are the only ones that know the answer to that. I made it to hole 18, 322 feet, little side hand, hyzer flip to flat, push out at the end. Just gonna try and peer the gap. I don't think there's a shot more satisfying than that. The flippy disc, push hyzer forehand. Man, this hole's kind of tricky, so I'll probably be like 30 feet short of the basket, maybe a little bit right. So am I gonna bag this thing? I think so. The forehand flights really impressed me today. They were very, very similar to how my Sidewinder kind of used to fly before it got a little bit too beat in. I think we're gonna obviously continue to work this thing in over the next couple of weeks, really figure it out. But this thing, it's money. It goes really far, effortless distance, effortless lines. That's why these styles are one of my favorite, one of my newfound favorite as well. If you've been following for a while, I didn't throw like the Sidewinder or Roadrunner discs until I was in Montana, like maybe 6 months ago, and I just figured them out basically. And since then, they've really like became that spot in my bag that I just really enjoy throwing that flip up finesse sidearm shot. But shout out to Bonanza, shout out to you for sending me this thing. Shout out to everything you've been doing, man. Keep it up. Love to see it. Well, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully, if you haven't picked one of these up and you support Bonanza, go grab one, man. Yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Well, there's 3 keys to disc golf: driving, approaching, and putting. You need all 3 to do this disc sport. Well, let me show you driving first.